when we do these, they go into an existing project. One that has been there for a while. I know some examples of those are like the Cal EPA Small Grants Fund. There are a few that are set up in the Penal Code and the Fish and Game Code. And so normally we put money into a project that's there. This is one that we are building from whole cloth and new. So it is taking longer, for sure. The other thing that has hit us is the same thing that has hit everybody. You know, we were in a good place to make some real movement earlier in 2020, and the pandemic hit, and like most things, it has slowed us down quite a bit. We are back on track and moving it forward. You know, the other question a lot of people have is they want a timeline on this, and I wish I could give everybody a timeline. I wish I could say to you, this is going to be exactly when this is done by, this is the next step, this is the next date. I don't want to be in a place where I'm setting people up to be disappointed or giving you false information. We don't have that timeline. I can tell everyone that it is months and not years. We are at the next phase and should be moving forward with more speed than it has been moving at. Do any of my colleagues have anything to add to that? No. Okay. The next question that we had was what stage, what is the timeline, and I think I answered that. One of them was which agency will be administering and overseeing this installation. I'm going to turn to Catherine for this one.
Thanks, Jessica. I think I mentioned briefly, or at least touched on it when I was speaking earlier. We haven't decided which agency will be implementing this step yet. Our hope is that shortly after this meeting, we will, come up with a plan for implementation, including specifically which agency will be implementing the step and move forward accordingly.
The next question we had was, will the community have a voice in the location of the monitors, and will public parks be monitored? AQMD, can I turn to you for an initial take on that one?
Sorry, can you repeat that? I was looking through the Q&A.
Yeah, sorry. No problem. Will the residents, will the community have a voice in the actual location of the monitors, and will public parks be monitored?
So I think that's open for consideration on any plan that would be considered. I mean, obviously, I think if we're going through looking at kind of past data, we have some good locations that we believe are really good. But as far as like where maybe nuisance have been recently, we can take a look at that type of data and take that input for consideration. But a lot of times, I mean, if we're looking to some of the pollutants of health concern, looking at the strategy for residents as well as schools when they can come back in session are obviously a focus. And then also where likely the pollutants would be entering the community if there was an emission from the facility would be some of it. But I mean, obviously, we've learned through other processes that the community input is very valuable. So any agency would take that into consideration.
Thank you, Jason. Sorry, I apologize for the delays and the mute and unmute for folks who are watching. Another set of questions that we have gotten is along the lines of why are we talking about methane and VTEX, and why are we talking about the particular constituents that we are? And I'm sorry, Jason, I know you just answered, but if you could touch a little bit on why we're focusing on these particular substances and how these decisions are ultimately